Good morning, friends, and thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today we wrap up our S.H.A.P.E mini-series, the S.H.A.P.E Discover Your Ministry tool, and we've come to the last letter today, and so we want to talk about the letter E, and then be done with this series and move on to something else. And so we've covered S for spiritual gifts, we've covered H for heart, we've covered A for abilities, we just finished up P for personality, and now today E, experiences. And experiences causes us to think about what we have experienced in life, especially as we think of adults plugging into ministry. It's amazing at how much your life provides testimony for God's faithfulness, and how that can be used in the idea of ministering to someone else. I remember as a youth pastor talking about E and experiences to students, and it was always kind of fun for me to think about that, because at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, you have to wonder how much does a teenager or a preteen experience in life that they could actually use for ministry. And the reality is that in today's culture, students experience a lot of stuff, and they do that not so much firsthand or because of something that they are causing, but sometimes their experiences are just part of part of life that's been dealt to them. When you think of like parents who go through divorce and situations like that, and the experience concept for students becomes a whole lot different. But for adults, when I think about experience in the way of ministry, we have so much more to tap into, simply because we've experienced so much more in life as adults. But the thing about your experiences with ministry, I shared this when I spoke about this at church. The week that we talked about these, and I said that you hear quite often people who maybe get up and share their testimony, and they give these incredible accounts of a life that they were living that was contrary to God, and then all of a sudden the Spirit of God got them, and they heard the gospel message, and they had this tremendous transformation in their lives. And they talk about all these experiences they had, and it just you hear testimonies like that, and it sometimes puts you in a place where you think, man, what an amazing story. I wish I had those experiences, or I wish I had something similar to talk about, but I don't. For me, I would go and I would hear these guys give testimonies, and I would just think, man, it was amazing. I can't believe this person has come so far from where they once were, and really it's like the whole the Paul testimony of this guy who's just living a ruckus life, and the Spirit of God converts him, and it's awesome. I grew up in the church, and first, by God's blessing, this is how I phrase it nowadays, because I understand a little bit more, but by God's blessing, I was protected from so much, and and just not that I was perfect, far from it, but I definitely see where God had protected me in my life to keep me from certain things that maybe might have given me a more colorful testimony. And I would think, okay, here are these guys with these great testimonies, and here I am. I'm growing up in the church and not really, experienced maybe as much as some. But that type of thinking is wrong. Your experiences are a part of who you are, and all of your experiences, good or bad, add to your testimony of God's faithfulness. And when we think about ministry and how our experiences play a role in our ministry, God will lay on your heart the ministry that He has prepared for you. And you will find that with prayer and time and understanding how this SHAPE tool works, that you were created for that specific ministry. And you will find that your experiences in life provide for you a wonderful resource as you become, or as you take your part in that ministry. So the things that you have experienced that maybe you think, oh man, why did I have to go through that? Or why did I have to endure that pain and suffering? Or you think, man, that was a really excellent, experience. Those things will come back, and believe it or not, you will be able to minister to somebody who perhaps is experiencing something very similar in their lives. And as a maturing Christian, those experiences will give you that, I don't want to say credibility, but it'll give you that kind of confidence to say, hey, I've been there, and I understand, and here is the faithfulness of God. And you become a person that really ministers greatly to whoever's in that situation. So we can't discount our experiences. We can't discount the things that lead us to a place where we have matured through that process. If we were to relate it to a something from the Bible, a biblical story, or an account, I often think of Joseph in the Old Testament. Here, Joseph is the second youngest to a bunch of brothers, the favored of the father among the brothers, treated differently, loved a little more, and the brothers are fully aware of this, and so they plan destruction for Joseph. And what happens is Joseph goes through a number of years of real difficult life experiences, from being sold into slavery to being accused of potential rape, thrown in prison, and left there for years as an innocent man. All of these different things, would have been negative for us, but the story for Joseph turns out with him becoming the second most powerful person in all of Egypt, and it comes at a time of a great famine. And not only does he save all of Egypt, but he saves the very brothers that once sold him into slavery. And I love the one line at the end when the brothers finally realize who this man was that was helping them. He says, they cry out for forgiveness, and really are afraid that he's going to have them, put to death or whatever. And Joseph very simply says, no, what you intended for evil, God has intended for good. So all those experiences that Joseph had to go through, had to endure, God had a purpose and a plan for all of them. And it turns out that it was to save the very brothers that put him away. So as we close off this little mini-series of SHAPE and thinking through ministry, begin to be thinking about what your experiences in life have been. What adventures have you had? What mountaintop experiences? What valley experiences? What difficulties have you struggled through? What sin has been a thorn in your side? What things have you overcome? All of that stuff in some way will contribute to the ministry that you have been called to do. And when you figure all that out, you'll just become that much more of a minister. So I hope you've enjoyed the SHAPE's series. I know we've had a little bit of gap in time between some of the different vlogs here, but we got it done. All 5 letters are there. Be sure to look at the webpage because we have additional resources, the spiritual gifts test and the shape inventory form that you can complete. These things will help you to continue to find your shape. And go back and watch the videos again and be reminded of each of those different letters. We'll leave the page up. And I'm also working on a special new page for the jchaim.com blog that will kind of put all this together in a little neater package for us. So be sure to check that out here in a couple days. Watch for a vlog or an announcement about that. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. May the God continue to open doors and allow you to discover the ministry that He's created you for. And may that ministry bless those around you. Have a great day, and until next time, we'll see you later.